Well, welcome to another episode of Breakaway from the Rat Race. And today I have the pleasure of speaking with Joe Killinger. Joe has been an active member of the real estate industry for like over 30 years, wearing different hats and sometimes multiple hats. And over the years, been an agent, an investor, a syndicator, and he founded and operated multiple companies as well as the properties that he invested in. So his expertise that I mentioned has been like over 30 years, so a ton of knowledge here. And during that time, he has been personally responsible for the sale of over 6,000 assets, totaling over $900 million. And I'm sure it's way more than that now because I think I got my information from a couple of months ago. And so this is fantastic, Joe. It's a pleasure to have you. I was on your podcast a few months ago.
Oh yeah.
I just thought, hey, I want to talk to you on my podcast.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. It was good content then, so I think we'll do it again today.
Yeah, so I think this is good. I think today, I think we have nothing really to promote. We just want to share kind of. I want to just poke your brain. Is that the expression?
Yeah, that's
I want
fine.
to ask you kind of
If
like what's
not,
going
not
on
you
with the
can't poke a whole
economy.
lot, but you'd be very disappointed. But I have been in the business a while. I've done
Yeah.
everything from real estate auctions in the mid '90s. So I went through all these foreclosures, and we were selling. I know that number of. Uh, I don't even remember if I think it's 900 million or $1 billion in real estate we sold. A lot of that
Yeah.
was during a downturn at auction. We sold a lot of. We were doing 600-700 properties a year.
Oh, wow.
And so we started off there, and then I got into investment and brokerage, and that's where I'm at now, is focusing on those two, along with this
Wow.
YouTube channel that I have. So yeah.
So what do you see? I have my own opinion, obviously, of what kind of like what the real estate, what's happening with the real estate and the economy. We see the interest rate or the Fed raising the interest rate, the Fed rate. What's happening with mortgage rate is kind of like going
Right.
sideways. And what do you see is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen with the real estate market? And if you have to break it down into areas or categories of real estate, whatever makes sense to kind of
Yeah.
summarize that.
It's and I just had somebody leave my office, and I haven't verified any of this, but he just said the CMBS mortgages, he's seeing some delinquencies there. He said he's talking to some bigger banks that are taking some properties back.
And that
And
the
he was
CMBS,
talking
you mean the commercial mortgage?
mortgage-backed securities, yeah. And so, and again, I haven't verified any of that, so I don't know. I could be talking out my hat right now, but
Yeah.
it kind of gave me a little bit of concern about what could be coming. There's a lot. He was mostly focused on office assets, and I guess I can understand that, right?
Yeah.
A lot of it depends on getting back to the office, and so I think office is going to be struggling a little bit for a while. Now I'm based in Los Angeles right now. I'm talking to people. We have an affiliate network, so I talk to people all around the country. I know you guys in Florida, and New York is on fire with multifamily still.
Yeah.
Texas, California, it's hard to find deals,
Yeah.
and so that really work.
Hmm.
But multifamily seems to be staying pretty strong right now. It's always a good inflation fighter. Retail is, I'm talking to some people that are, they've got some retail clients, and they're starting to see a little bit of, they're starting to have some concerns with their retailers that there might be some trouble coming in the next few
Hmm.
months, but they're really not sure right now. And industrial, my God, on fire. It just you can't you still in around the country they're building a lot of it. There's a lot of
Yeah.
square feet under construction, but right now it's hard to come by, and we're
Mhm.
getting people that want smaller short-term stuff, and I'm like, man, I wish I could, but it's really really hard to find.
Yeah, and I could see. So the first one was really kind of about office, right? So office space.
Yeah.
I could really see, like intuitively, you could see that that market is going to be in trouble with people working more and more from home. I think some areas, I think it's going to be difficult.
Hmm.
With the office space is going to be very difficult. I'm especially thinking like the Bay Area. I know when I left, they were building office space like there
Yeah.
was no tomorrow, and I was just like, people can't even afford to live here.
Yeah.
So who's going to be working in these buildings? They're going to have to commute like 3 hours to come to the office. That didn't make sense.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic kind of happened and shuffled things around a little bit. But I think that that's a market that's going to be struggling. And
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, they did an interview they interviewed 70 I think it was 100 CEOs around the country. 74% of them said they probably are going to be doing some layoffs.
oh yeah,
And they didn't say exactly how much. So I think, we've got some issues coming. I think as a real estate investor, it creates opportunity.
yeah,
The good ones, it creates a lot of opportunity. So if you're a good real estate investor, this could be a great time. And I don't know if you saw this morning that Putin has decided to shut the Nord Stream off
oh,
to Europe indefinitely until they
oh,
remove some of the sanctions against him. So that's going to hurt those people a lot. Some of that'll the bigger companies that are here and there, it's going to hurt.
yeah,
And so I'm trying not to, I don't want to scare anybody, right, Eric? But I just think, you have to do your due diligence no matter what you're doing. If
yeah,
as a real estate investor or as a real estate agent, you need to have this macro outlook. You have to really know what's going on around the country, around the world, and how it affects us.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, yeah, if you see something like this, then you say, well, oil price is going to go up. That means inflation is going to go up. It's going to cost more to bring goods and service
Yeah.
goods, especially to different people, different stores. So it's going to cost more money. The
Yeah,
cost
but
of
I think
materials is going to cost.
I think it creates opportunity for
Yeah, yeah,
a sophisticated investor and find a seller that needs to sell something. Get creative with them.
yeah.
You can create opportunities for yourself in these markets. If in fact, I mean, we're very fortunate here in California that I think in the last downturn we went down less than 10%.
Hmm.
And so we're kind of the last ones in and first ones out, but we got a bunch of people in a small area.
Hmm.
And so we're
Yeah,
very fortunate, a lot of high net worth people too.
yeah,
But you get around the Midwest and some of those smaller cities, they get hit a little bit harder. But there will be opportunity. You just have to figure out where to find it.
yeah. But the cost of living in the Bay Area, I mean, and if you include like also the taxes and all of that, I mean,
Yeah,
it's just crazy. I mean, yeah, I think the what was it, the poverty level or whatever in San Francisco was like you had to make like as a family income was like $150,000, and that was kind of like the poverty
yeah,
level. If you
yeah. Isn't
below
that
that,
insane?
it was
You know,
crazy.
yeah. It just seems we want quality of life, and you just got to figure out what quality of life you want.
Yeah,
And that's some of these bigger cities. It's really hard right now. You have to
exactly.
deal with. I mean, I was at a store in Santa Monica, 8 blocks to the beach, and this guy just walked in, grabbed a handful of salads, and turned around and walked out.
No,
And the manager's yelling at him and goes, "Hey, we were nice to you this morning. Now look what you're doing." And so I guess they gave him food already that day, but
yeah,
you know, you just have to wonder, you know, are, where do we go from here? If you just got to
yeah.
decide if you want to live within that, and
Yeah, I think the and that's kind of and I don't want to pick on California or anything like that. I think there are other cities that are in trouble. I mean, I know that Phoenix. I think the housing supply has gone through the roof.
right,
Austin, which was also a beneficiary, I would say, of it's not a good thing to say, but of the pandemic, like people being able to work from home, and they say, well,
yeah,
I can work from home. I'm gonna go somewhere that's a little bit cheaper. At the time, it
yeah,
was cheaper and better quality of life and all that kind of stuff. And then the Austin market went through the roof,
yeah.
and now it's going downhill
Oh, is it? I haven't looked
dramatically.
at the
The
residential
housing
side.
supply are just like massively increased. I think it's like it went up like over 100% year over year. So
Yeah.
it was significant and lots of price increase. I think like half of the houses on the market right now have a price reduction.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah. So
Yeah, I think you're going to see that in residential. I think residential there's some issues. I
yeah,
want to back up one second. I wasn't bagging on California. I just happen to live here,
yeah,
so
yeah.
that's what I can
And
relate
I
to.
used to live here like until a month ago. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know
So I'm
I'm
just telling you
motivated.
this is what and I love California. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. I do love it here, but we have our issues. We're not perfect by any means.
Yeah.
And except it was a little humid this weekend.
Yeah. So
got over 90 degrees.
Just let me know when you're ready to move to Florida. I
Florida,
can
yeah,
find a
might need
place for
to.
you.
You keep getting this heat.
You know, so it's amazing.
Yeah.
So then we talk about retail as well, that you see some
Mhm.
pressure on retail. And again,
Yep.
that makes total sense because this obviously e-commerce and Amazon is kind of killing everybody.
Yep.
Also now I think with the supply chain issues, and I've heard like Walmart also like had like a ton of inventory all of a sudden that they have to flush out because um,
Yeah.
they had too much, or there was some kind of an
Well,
issue with the
yeah, they got
supply
stuck in the
chain.
port. So,
Yeah.
like last month, they got a bunch of swimsuits. So, at the end of August, early September, you probably don't need a bunch of swimsuits. So you're cutting the price. But
Yeah.
the way they're dealing with that is instead of going from port to warehouse to fulfillment center to retail, a lot of them they're building fulfillment centers right on the properties now, is
Hmm.
what we're seeing. So they're
Okay.
going from port to fulfillment centers, kind of relieving a little bit of the clog in the whole system going
Yeah.
to the warehouse. And I
Yeah.
think you're going to see that's going to really catch on.
Yeah.
And I think it can be a good thing because I think things will go a lot faster that way.
Yeah.
But they're building the systems out right now. It's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So yeah, so definitely, but also now with if we go into a recession, so again, that's gonna, with the inflation the way it is, it's already
mhm.
probably reducing a lot of the demand for products and all of that. So I would think that the retail is it's going to be a little bit harder to especially for items that are not necessary, they're not essential,
Yeah,
non-essential items and stuff like that. So these kinds of things, like more luxury item, definitely they're going to be put some pressure down for the retailers that are
yeah,
specializing in that area.
yeah, yeah. The mid to lower end is really where the probably most of the pain's going to be. But um, you're seeing some of that.
Yeah.
You're seeing consumer spending is slowing. The number of credit cards opened in July was super high.
Hmm.
Credit card debt is climbing fairly quickly. But
That's not good.
what I'm not understanding, and I really can never get a straight answer, is there are so many jobs available still,
Hmm.
and so a lot. I just think that you can. It concerns me with the layoffs that are coming. If
Yeah.
in fact there are going to be a bunch, maybe it'll be a shift.
Yeah.
These people go from doing something technology to, or maybe they'll open their own business too. It's hard to
Yeah.
say. A lot of them want to be entrepreneurs, but we got to figure out how to get these. If we don't have the workers, we can't keep the supply chain is still going to stay full because it's
Yeah.
going too slow. So we got to get people to working, and we got to get that supply chain moving.
Yeah. And I think unemployment, I mean, I haven't analyzed really the unemployment, kind of like what's going on there and why it's not moving. I know we have tons of jobs, and
Yep.
then it seems like from the outside, why aren't you taking those jobs? But the unemployment rate is very low. And I know
Yep.
that we have some people that are kind of like they off that list of people looking for jobs,
Yeah.
but because they haven't looked for like 6 months or something like that. So then they're
Yeah.
kind of like counted
Yeah. You
off.
fall off the list.
You
That's
fall off
six or
that
nine
list.
months or something like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Right. So
Yeah.
so there's still a lot of workers out there that could be working, and I think it may have to do with location, being in the wrong location. It could be
Could
due
be.
to also not having the right skill set. So, I
And the
know in.
thing is, as Americans, we are one of the most entrepreneurial countries out there,
Mhm.
right? We tend to figure things out quickly,
Yeah,
and we have a short term memory, the way it seems. I mean, you
that's for
remember when
sure.
September 11th happened?
Yeah,
Everybody's like, you know what? Nobody's going to fly again for a couple years. Just nobody's going to want to get on a plane.
yeah,
3 months later, you couldn't get a
yeah,
ticket.
yeah,
Everybody's back to flying already.
yeah, yeah,
And we've got a great country that is full of people that really want to move forward. And we've got some of our detractors. They like living in the mud, right?
yeah,
But for the most part, this country, everybody is forward looking.
yeah,
And how do we make it? How do we make it better?
yeah.
And so I
I
think we're
agree.
very fortunate.
I agree. So you also mentioned like industrial. Actually, maybe
Mm,
before, yeah, industrial. That what this was going, this sector was
yeah,
growing
still,
crazy. So this is the first. This is an interesting news because we hear a lot of negatives about everything,
yeah,
and then now here you are, you're bringing something absolutely positive
yeah,
to the
yeah.
conversation.
Industrial. I mean, it's just they're building a lot of it right now, and hopefully they don't overbuild it. You know, it's typically we get started and we don't know when to stop, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And but yeah, industrial seems to be it just keeps going and going. The vacancy rates are so low.
Okay.
People are making their payments, and everything
Oh,
seems to be good so far. We'll
yeah.
see. I mean, it's we just got to make sure we're looking at what's coming. I do again think that we need to be looking at what's going on in other countries and see how, watch imports,
Yeah.
exports, so it's all going.
Yeah. So the other thing too that I wanted to talk about is do you remember like Harry Dent? And he wrote a book called Boom, Bust, and Echo a while back, and like tracking the baby boomers and stuff like that.
Right.
And I think right now this is people should look back at this book and then apply it to the millennials because the millennials is our new baby boomers and really follow them and follow what they're gonna do and how they're gonna spend their money
Yeah.
and where they're gonna be. So I think this is something that's very important. If you think that the baby boomers are gonna go and they're going to get out of these big cities and go more in the suburb, or they're going to go more into single family rentals rather than apartment buildings and that kind of stuff. I think this is worth following these trends early on
Absolutely.
and then going into that.
Yeah. Data, real estate investing is data driven. You
Yeah.
know, where are those people going? Where are they moving to? Why are they moving there? What income levels are they going to be when they're where they're moving to?
Hmm.
Um, you know, what's the long-term effects of them being there? It's why I love real estate because
Yeah.
you can sit down and kind of analyze this you can have pretty good investment, lower risk.
Yeah, and it was important when he was talking about the boomers, it was pretty interesting to see that, like how he would really correlate the spending habits at different ages. So when you're in
Yeah,
family formation, right? So you buy your house, that means you have to buy like frit all the appliances, blah blah blah. And
yeah,
then boom, oh, you can see the supply for or the demand for appliances go up dramatically and all of that, and then
yeah,
you'd see all these different things and how the demands were shifting. And I think for me, like the millennials, when I look at the millennials right now that are in family formation, there's more and more demand going towards the suburb close to a big city so that they can have quality of life. They can rent a house with a backyard, have their children, they have good schools and that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
that's kind of what I'm
yeah.
seeing.
And that's something I don't really. Residential is not something I really do. I
Yeah.
know that the it's. I heard that Blackstone quit buying homes, so that's should be more inventory.
Hmm.
I don't know, and you could probably answer that, Eric. Was that kind of blown out? How many homes do they actually own? Do you know?
Oh, they own I don't know exactly, but they had a lot of homes and they were
Yeah.
planning to multiply that by like 100 over the next few
Wow.
years. It was massive, and I'm not sure why they were doing that. Like it's not like they didn't really say what, they just thought it was a great market and they wanted to invest. But yeah, they had a lot, they were buying a lot of homes.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I know that they're looking. A lot of these big companies are looking. I'm from Nebraska originally,
Mhm.
and so farm and ranch land, another big thing that
Yeah,
big dollar people are looking at. With water, it has to have
yeah,
water on it. So irrigation, wells. If it's a ranch, you want
yeah,
wells for the cattle or whatever
yeah,
you're raising, but irrigation's key, and they're paying top dollar for that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
I mean, I'm from central Nebraska, and a couple $1,000s an acre you hadn't heard of until
yeah,
just a few years ago, and now it's well above that now.
yeah, yeah. So in terms of the space that you're in and stuff like that, so I mean you mentioned some of the trends, but so how is like inflation? How is the future of the interest rate? Where do you see that going, and how does that affect some of the investments that you're looking at?
Well, it's we've made some, I think we've made some missteps here in California. We're probably going to drive inflation up a little bit more here. But interest rates are definitely going to be going up. I mean, everybody that I'm talking to is saying interest rates are going up. Nobody knows how high,
Yeah.
but it's still going to go up. As far as how high the inflation will go, I think it's stabilized right now, but you know, it's not going to be easy for a while, I don't think.
Yeah.
And, you know, for the next 18 months or something like that, I would say that it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but I still come back to, if interest rates go up, if you actually look at, you know, let's say interest rates are 4 to 4.25%, go look at how much that payment is, the difference. People get so scared, but that quarter point isn't that much if you look at it.
That
In
quarter
the end,
point is not that much.
yeah. And so I'm like, you've got to really just, it comes back to doing your due diligence. Look at the property. If it's something that has good long-term value, find the best loan you can find for it and hold on. And hope, you know, make it cash flow, and then find the best tenant you can find right now to get it out there, and be creative on the lease. You know, get creative with people. And you know, we've seen there was a guy here in LA that there's a ton of warehouse space. And so what this guy did is he went around Santa Monica right along the freeway and subleased this all as much warehouse space as he could out. This is years ago.
Yeah.
And he turned it into office. And until those, I mean, he made bank for 10 years. He was just printing money because he chopped those things up into multiple offices, had these cool spots, terrible parking, but cool spots.
Yeah.
And and after that 10 years, he was done. Leases expired, he was done. And so I don't know where he moved to, but I thought, man, if you get creative like that, that creativity is something that, you know, he just leased him up and then subleased him out and to these smaller tech companies and or anybody that want to be in a nice creative space. And you got to get creative with this stuff, and you can figure out ways to make money.
Yeah, I mean that is a pretty creative way of making money, because you don't have, especially you're just subleasing, so you don't have to buy the asset, you just subleasing.
Signed a lease.
Yeah.
Signed a lease, got deposits down. If he had one, 10,000 square foot place, he turned it into, like 2,000 square feet. So he had 5 of them in there.
Yeah.
He got his money back for his deposit and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Smart.
That is pretty smart. Are you familiar at all with kind of like self-storage or these
really?
No.
Not really. No. Yeah, that's something, mostly here in LA, we don't, it's a really, really tight market. None of our brokers we've never touched on it. I know we need more of it. Yeah. The prices on it are absolutely insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was looking in the LA area, and then it was there was no bargains to be had.
No, it's retail pricing. And if you can build that, you find a warehouse space and put in the fencing, and you have cameras and one security person.
Yeah.
You can it's retail prices, and you get all these people in there.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about kind of what you're doing. You have your YouTube channel. So it's kind of, and you had like some great guests in there, and
we've been very fortunate, people like yourself on. I've got some really, it's been growing a lot lately. We got put on one of the top 10 commercial real estate YouTube channels to watch out for. So that really helped. We're starting to grow fairly quickly. But what we do is it's really designed in that when my business partner and I got started, and it's changed a little since, but it was just hard to find good mentors and good people to give valuable information. Because they always saw you as competition, right? Either as investing or as an agent. Yeah. So we created first the website you can see behind me here. And then it goes to the YouTube channel as well. And we put content out every week, 2 videos a week and 1 blog out every week. That really is geared to helping people that want to become a real estate investor or a real estate agent. And, that was the whole genesis of it. And it's really opened a lot of doors for, we just started this morning, actually. We do on our commercial brokerage company we have here in Los Angeles, Commercial Brokers International. We do classes for agents in our office that want to be in Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 8:30 to 9:30. And, through my YouTube channel, people reached out saying, listen, I'm with this big firm,
Yeah.
this big brokerage firm. And they said they were going to train me, but mostly I'm just doing business development for my seniors, right?
Or you do the spread, fill in the spreadsheet.
Yeah, one of those. And they said, so I really enjoy your videos. I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
So we've taken the classes that my business partner, he's the CEO, he does these 3 days a week, and we're going to record them, and then we're going to put them on our Commercial Brokers International YouTube
Yeah.
site. So be a lot more toward training as well. So we're big on just kind of giving back to our community. It's what we've had good success in. And so, if you kind of give everybody the knowledge and our side of it, not necessarily our opinion, but this is our experience, and they can take it, and hopefully it'll work for them. That's the goal.
So. And you are geared towards training and mentoring agents that are interested in
and investors.
And investors, okay.
Yep, we do both. In real estate. Okay. I'm an investor. We owned a bunch of multifamily around Texas until a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And we got offers on the portfolio, so we got rid of that. We're like, it wasn't on the market, and these people came in. They came in and said, listen, what do you want for it? I said, listen, we said, well, this is the price we want for it, not thinking they would do it, and they did. So we're like, okay, well, we have no risk here, so let's go ahead and do that. Yeah. Then we bought triple net properties. So we own triple net properties around mostly Dallas right now.
Yeah, awesome.
Yep. So we do the brokerage, we do the investing. We've been investing for years. We did multifamily investing. We did flips. We did flips in Compton when it wasn't cool. It's cool now. Yeah, we did them. We really learned, and you'll appreciate this, is we would buy these. There's some beautiful homes in Watson, Compton. It used to be a really nice area. They were kind of like little beach cottages looking things.
Oh, yeah.
And we would buy them from the banks, and we'd go in and fix them up. And the first one we did, we put copper in because it was going to close the next week. The next day I came out and that copper was all gone.
Oh, yeah.
Tough lesson to learn.
Well, there's some markets like that too. Like there's a market in Memphis where we invest. And it was exactly like that. So basically, we didn't put appliances until the day the tenants were moving in. So if the tenants were moving in, then okay, we bring all the appliances, we hook everything up, including water heater and furnace. They would steal furnace, and it's like, what's going on?
And here's the thing: we paid the neighbor to watch it.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, I think we didn't just pay him to watch it. I think maybe he watched it walk out, and maybe ended up at his house.
Oh yeah. So and it's too bad. I don't understand that philosophy.
It was something, but so we've done flips, we've done remodels. We started off in multifamily investing, triple net, and we've sold pretty much every asset class.
Yeah. That's good. Okay. And then in your practice for the brokers, how many brokers do you have working with you?
15 right now.
Okay.
15, and we just moved offices, so we're expanding. We're probably going to take it up to like 18 or 19.
Yeah.
And then that's going to be good, because I don't want this big, massive company.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that my business partner and myself are able to give each one of them enough time every day.
Yeah.
If I get any bigger than that, it's really, really hard to do, because they're all getting deals flowing, and everybody needs a little bit of attention. We have a mortgage company, Icon Capital Advisors.
Okay.
We have an affiliate network. So we got a lot going on.
Yeah.
And so I'm very, very thankful.
Okay. Sounds good. So if people want to reach out to you, they can go to joekillinger.co. That's your website.
Yep.
You also on YouTube. Yeah. And YouTube is Joe Killinger also.
Yep.
And then on Instagram, Joe Killinger.
Yeah, Joe Killinger. I keep it simple.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't even have my own name on Instagram.
Oh, you couldn't?
No, I had to go Eric Martel Official. So Instagram and TikTok and all that. So
there's not a lot of Killingers. I suppose there's more Martels in the world, but there's.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Fortunate. Yeah. So and it's anybody can reach out. I set 45 minutes a day to respond to everybody. Try and answer questions. If I can give direction, I will.
Well, so that's great. I mean, I think that this is good, especially if you're interested, if people out there are interested in the commercial real estate space. I think it is hard to get into. So I think so a lot of these big brokerage firm, they kind of they're very tightly knit, and they don't let many people in. But Joe can mentor you and help you and bring you on board and get you into that business. I think that's very important. Thank you for doing
Happy
that.
to help.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Joe. It was a pleasure talking.
Thank you, Eric.
We'll talk to you later.
Thank you for listening to Break Away from the Rat Race with your host, Eric Martel. If you want to share your story and experience with our listeners, please message us on Facebook at Break Away from the Rat Race. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and our podcast on iTunes.